Alright, what's going on, everybody? Got another fun one today. Staying on track with the standard ladder prep. Uh, this is a blue-green aggro deck, Simic aggro, that just won a challenge yesterday. I pulled this list off from MTG Goldfish. It is the 14th now, so this list won on the 13th, so it's reasonably new. There have been plenty of versions of this deck kind of floating around. This one filled all the gaps that I wanted. There's a lot of lists that are running around that are pretty much all creatures and Innkeeper's talents. This one was a little more spell dense, which I liked. I also really liked the inclusion of some of the sideboard changes, which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, this deck it's pretty linear and pretty powerful, honestly. You've just got 7 elves, effectively, which is going to give you an insane tempo jump, presumably in any game that you play them. You have the sirens, which work really, really well with the pollinators and the Ouroboroids. Druneth is another new one. This card, it reads a little strange, but I think it ends up being pretty powerful. I mean, the ability to copy your early efficient plays. I mean, copying a recruit or a siren right off the rip, I think actually ends up being pretty powerful. And then obviously it ramps up the curve, right? Like, I don't know how often you should expect to be able to copy a Surrak or an Ouroboroid, but I feel like if you're getting to do that, the game's over already, right? So the high end of this feels like a little bit of a win more element to me. But yeah, I mean, this deck it looks really powerful. So you line up pretty well against Vivi, I think, because you've got the Beastbinder's main deck, you've got the Flood Maws, and you just have a lot of aggression. Vivi, I mean, I think most people would agree, Vivi's one weakness is if it doesn't have like the Mako Prof start, they can kind of get off to a slow start, right? They want to play a bunch of, card draw. Their turn 3 play isn't always a Terza or a Scholar, right? Sometimes it's a Winter Night Stories. So if their first play on the board is effectively not until turn 4, obviously the deck is incredibly powerful and can do some degenerate things. But a deck like this can close the game long before Vivi gets anything online. Another thing that drew me to this iteration of the deck, really big fan of Detect Intrusion. The fact that you can counter the triggered ability from the new Sultai Spider-Man Reanimator deck. This is effectively just a cheaper version of the Merfolk, whose name Tidebinder, whose name I was having a hard time remembering there for a second. Yeah, this deck is, and you can see the sideboard, right? The sideboard is, with the exception of Enduring Curiosity, just all crazy cheap cards. It's that, 20 lands, very low to the ground, and this deck is just trying to get underneath what everybody else is doing. You even get some main deck hate, like I already commented on Beastbinder. You also just have main deck Curators, so you have a bunch of ways to use this extra mana that you're going to have floating around. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get into it. I think this deck is pretty sweet. Starting at 26. All right. That should be better for camera positioning after showing off the deck a little bit, I think. Oh, we finally won a die roll. I think we have won very, very few die rolls in this series so far. All right, so we are going to keep this hand. This hand has weaknesses, obviously. Like, we don't have any of the big heavy hitters. But I think turn 1 Elf into turn 2 Druneth Gene Pollinator on the play is certainly worth keeping. And then any banger that we draw off the top after that should pull us pretty far ahead, I believe. Yeah, this camera positioning looks better to me at the moment. Opponent already in the tank. Come on, I'm excited to get this elf into play. What are you doing, fam? There we go. Anchorage, blue-white. So we don't want to overextend. Interesting. I almost wonder if that means I'm supposed to just play it much slower. Do we have a good plan against a Day of Judgment here? Or like a Cage? I kind of don't, right? At least Cage I can Flood Maw. Yeah, probably just have to go for the full aggression, right? I don't really think holding back makes a ton of sense. When you cast as well, so we get the Curator, even if they have a no more lives, that's pretty insane. Pretty insane. Are they just looking at get lost? Yeah, they're kind of obliged to. I also think that gives us really good information. That almost guarantees that they don't have Cage. They could still have Day of Judgment, but we're definitely gonna get a little frisky here. Do I care more about exiling a card with Curator or using a map? It's almost certainly got to be using a map, right? We're pretty far away from Delirium at the moment. Let's go ahead and... I don't think there's a big benefit to doing one over the other. We'll just do the real Pollinator. Another Druneth. I think I'm supposed to mill for one of the heavy hitters. I'm reasonably confident of that. I think this is going to be too low impact now going forward. And then are we... Yeah, I think we are. And then make a mana. Doesn't matter which one. Tap this. And then I don't even think diversifying makes a big difference. I think we just want to put it on the same one, and we do not want this Pollinator either. And we will crunch in for 4. And then we are unfortunately not really representing a big Curator hit because we've only got the 2 card types in the graveyards at the moment. So if we get Day of Judgment in next turn, we're definitely not thrilled with that, but pretty much barring anything else, I think we line up pretty well. Oh, Voice of Victory. I must admit I was not expecting that. Well, now I think this is a pretty easy bounce their thing. Oh, I guess we actually do have Delirium now, don't we? Very interesting, because I kind of, it didn't clock to me right away that this is an artifact. Very interesting. So artifact, creature, instant. Oh no, we're still missing one. Damn. Artifact, creature, instant. Yeah, because I can put an instant in the graveyard, but there's already Get Lost. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get much better value out of this Flood Maw. I think Flood Mawing the voice makes a ton of sense. With the logic being, I want to be able to sit on the Snakeskin Veil, and obviously we can't if that's in play going into our opponent's turn. At least this way here, if they want to prevent us from using the Snakeskin Veil, they have to spend the 2 mana on the voice preemptively. I also think with them playing voice, there's a chance it's not really like a blue-white control deck, and that it's more of a Kona-style deck, especially with the starting town. But even then, I think we're safe because they don't have one of the station lands in play. So it's not possible for them to do anything with a Kona if they were to play it next turn. I think we've got most of our bases covered. I think it's pretty safe to say if our opponent had Day of Judgment, they would have already played it. Zenith is reasonably annoying if they had a follow-up. It looks like they do not, of course. Let's go ahead and eat some graveyard cards here. I don't need to eat anything else, right? Instant artifact creature, instant creature. Yep, good enough for me. Opponent wasn't dead there. I'm not really sure why they scooped, but it's all good. Instant, sorcery, or triggered ability. And then sorcery. So am I supposed to play like their Arcana deck? We saw Starting Town, we saw Zenith, and we saw Voice. We didn't see a single way to tap a permanent. But I haven't really seen like a Bant midrange deck like that either, so I don't really think that would make a lot of sense. Flood Maw did not look good against anything that they were doing, but I can't help but think if they are playing some kind of Kona nonsense, that I'm going to really regret not having Flood Maw in my deck. They showed us Get Lost, so I don't really have a ton of interest in cutting Snakeskin Veil. They did show us some creatures, though, so I think having hard-hitting questions in the deck makes sense. Alright, let's try... Go down to 2 Flood Maw. And then it did not seem like I'm shutting anything down from their deck. Just didn't really feel like a Beastbinder matchup. It definitely didn't feel like a Curator matchup either, to be fair. At least Beastbinder can, like, shut off Zenith, or Voice for that matter. So that's probably better than Curator, no? That makes sense to me. We didn't see anything that felt like it interacted with the graveyard. At least Beastbinder had a couple good creatures that we might want to shut off their ability. This hand looks pretty excellent to me. What is our turn 2 play going to be? Turn 2 play. Yeah, so they're just playing a good old-fashioned mid-range deck, it looks like. Very interesting. We've now seen Sirens, Voice of Victories, and Zeniths. It's tough. I can't help but think that it would just be better off being Esper or Blue-Black where you're abusing Kaito. Interesting. I mean, this just has to be a Druneth turn. None of the other 2-drops look particularly interesting to me, and being able to copy Llanowar Elf and potentially copy 2 things next turn, I think is too good to pass up. Or it forces them to have a removal spell, which going ahead and getting that out of the way before I've even really done anything is totally fine. It looks like that's what's happening. They're hovering over it. Sheltered by Ghost. Interesting. Well, we're not under a ton of pressure at the moment, but our opponent has definitely stitched together some good stuff. I think as much as I don't love the play, I'm gonna go Llanowar Elf with the logic being I want to be able to kill the Siren next turn. Or at least threaten to kill the Siren if they tap out. I'm probably pretty likely to not go for it if they keep mana untap because, like, we're not really in that bad of a spot yet. Like, we're in a bad spot because we're not developing, but we're under no pressure. Like, 3 damage a turn is not something I'm particularly concerned with at the moment. Riddler. Okay. Our opponent's cooking. Riddler with Inspector, kind of a combo. Very slow at adding to the board, but I see the vision. Alright. Sanctum, very, very good draw here. Very good draw. I'm not convinced I would be satisfied spending 3 mana now that I have access to 4 to just put Druneth back into play. But maybe it's good because I get to sit on Detect Intrusion because I could just pick up the elf and then I would be able to double copy. So there's logic to doing that. I should probably take advantage of them being tapped out as well. I think you could make a totally good argument for just double spelling here also. But yeah, I'm gonna go for it. There's a little bit of risk, inherent risk to this play, but takes away their biggest clock at the moment as well. If they've only got the 1 removal spell, which they're hovering Druneth, if we get value on this Detect Intrusion, the Druneth is going to pop off pretty hard, no? Because then we just get to pick up the elf, and then we get to double proc Druneth. That seems really good. We will, of course, take 2 damage. And then they're just casting the Riddler. I don't think I have any interest in countering that ability. The only reason I would do it is to get the double proc. I don't know if that's good enough. I guess... Oh, we get the double proc anyways because I can just put a counter on Druneth that way. Interesting. Yeah, probably just letting them draw a card. And now we can... Talent. Go to combat. Counter here. No attack. Beastbinder. Proc Druneth. So now the inspectors are not doing any damage to us. And we just have to find an answer to this Riddler. Turns out maybe this positioning doesn't work either. Maybe it's just down here. What did we got? We're wardening. Okay, our opponent's definitely in the kitchen. They kept that card on the top very quickly. Sure. All right, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? I mean, I'm definitely just interested in shutting both of these off, right? Seems like shutting both of these off is really important. making this a 3/3 shouldn't be relevant because one of my things will be 2/4s. So is there any argument to wanting to use a map beforehand? I think so. I also need to be pretty aggressive because I could just die to the anchorage as well. Maybe I'm just supposed to play another Beastbinder, honestly. And if that's the case, I am supposed to map. Yeah, let's map first and see where we're at. I do not want an elf, and I don't think I care about the +1/+1 enough to keep it there. Alright. So they drew the card that they wanted. Presumably they're just going to take 4 here. They have infinite life total to play with. And then, am I willing to tap the Llanowar Elf to map? Alternatively, I could just pump the mana into the talent, or I could just play a Recruit. But I think playing Recruit is the worst option of the bunch. 3 creatures is probably enough, no? Because it's like they only get in a point of damage if they attack with everything. Yeah, and then I think map is more important than giving anything ward. I want to make sure my next draw step's a banger, or get the land out of the way, exactly. Alright, we're obviously still decently far behind, I would say, but I see the vision for getting us back in. I see the vision for getting us back in. Another flying threat is marginally annoying, but... Oh, sheltered by ghost. That's tough. It being a 4-power thing is also pretty tough. Oh, wow. They're just doing it all, huh? They're just doing it all. This card definitely performing well. This card, I like it. I like it a lot. It's a good answer to Shelter by Ghost as well. Probably need more of these in the deck for this matchup. You don't want to be flooded on that effect. We've already got Snakeskin Veil, which is functionally the same thing. But yeah, we're definitely in danger. They really didn't attack with Anchorage. Not attacking with Anchorage there seems psycho to me. Yeah, I mean, we're obliged to double block, I think, unfortunately. It sucks losing one of these, or both if they have a trick. If they have a trick, the game is just over. We'll go to game 3. And they're kind of representing a trick by not attacking with the Anchorage, but I do not think we win the game going to 4 either. So, do what you gotta do. Works out. Oh, that's a good draw. Works out reasonably well for... I don't have a way to tap a creature, right? So I think I'm... Am I not playing the Llanowar Elf? Yeah, I guess I'm not playing the Llanowar Elf, right? Yeah. Because I'm definitely interested in sitting on this other intrusion. Oh, Flood Pit Drowner. Yeah. Definitely tough. Now they get to draw 2 cards with the clue as well. It's just the same thing, unfortunately. I just have to counter this. The intrusion was a good draw, but I think we're just falling a little too far behind. We needed like an Ouroboroid or something to really kind of close the power gap, I think. Hmm. 3/5, so I would at least get to kill a couple different things. Because 4/5, so I would get to kill 1, 2. Come on, come on, come on. Alright. We'll let them deal us the 1 with the Siren. I don't think I can really justify making both of them 2/4s and attacking. Their blocks would be too good. And then I think it's like pretty likely we just get eaten up by the Shelter by Ghost, right? Feels like it. It feels like it to me, fam. Oh, we're just zenithing for good measure. Oh, yeah. Officially roasted. Alright, so they're on Seam Rips. They're on a bunch of different triggers. I mean, Reclamation has to be a slam dunk here, right? And I almost wonder if Annul is even a slam dunk here. Reclamation is for sure. I don't really want to Unable to Scream. I don't care about individual creatures. I still think Flood Maw doesn't make a lot of sense here. Too much fighting over the board. I don't think Curiosity makes sense here. It's just Annul. It's just, do I want more intrusions? Which I think the answer is no. Because I think, again, Snakeskin Veil kind of serves the same function. And then do I want Annul? We only saw Seam Rips and Sheltereds. Yeah, we only saw Seam Rips and Sheltereds. I do... So here's one thing, though. I do think it's pretty clear at this point I don't need either Curator. So maybe it could just be like a Miser's Annul. Maybe this card is fine here. I think this card's really there for red, though. Do we want Annul? Or something else? I guess I'm having a hard time. It just like Intrusion just seems strictly better than Annul, right? Like it's a little more expensive. I might have to bounce a creature I don't want to, but Intrusion just gets so many more things, whereas the Annul only gets the Shelter by Ghost and the Rip. The Intrusion gets both of those plus some other potential hits. So, all right, this is for sure a keep. And we're going to be off to a pretty good start. So, I mean, turn 1 Elf into turn 2 Druneth Pawpatch Recruit looks pretty powerful to me against another mid-range creature deck. I could imagine a world where if we draw a bunch of air, Zenith or something could be a problem, but we'll deal with that bridge when it comes. Oh man, this positioning's kind of scuffed too, isn't it? Where am I supposed to put my camera? I hate it here. Haha. Alright, opponent deep in the tank on there. God, me and my opponent have both been taking forever to make these decisions. We're both just slow-ass gamers. did decide to mulligan. No, Seam Rip. Oh, buddy. Talk dirty to me. We're in business now. Alright, that's not a land, so blue and green. Yeah, we're good, right? I think our opponent's in a lot of danger, fam. I think our opponent is in a lot of danger. That's not gonna do it. Oh, that is a cute interaction, though. All right. I definitely see what our opponent's cooking. They have some very, very good interactions in their deck, I think. Unfortunately, I think they might just get kind of zoomed out of here. So they could Sheltered by Ghost, but then I still have just infinite power on the board, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, play two very, very long, interesting games, only to beat our opponent on turn 4 in game 3. You love to see it. You love to see it. Yeah, this deck is sweet, and I'm really, really impressed with the sideboarding. The sideboard, it feels like it might be one of the best sideboards you have access to in the format. The cards are just so cheap, and they just seem so powerful. No 1-drop is, like, really, really lame. But we're on the play, so we kind of keep tempo that way anyways, and the hand is good. If the hand was a little bit worse, I think I would want to throw it back, but Beastbinder just is so good against so many decks. Also, I could be wrong about this, because like I said, I'm just playing the deck for the first time, but my inclination is that this deck functions very similarly to Blue-Black, in the sense that Dimir is very, very dependent on drawing Kaito or Endearing Curiosity to win its games, because they're just they're the highest power level cards in the deck. And I wonder if this deck is just very reliant on Ouroboroid and Surrak to do the same. I suppose I can wait to Flood Maw on turn 3. I think there's a very good argument for Flood Mawing right there. It's actually kind of annoying that I have to take a damage for my starting town if I want to double blue next turn. I probably have to play the Verge. That way next turn starting town can just tap for colorless if I want a Beastbinder plus Flood Maw. And it's a pretty good blocker against the mouse, if they play that. Obviously, we can't block the Bastronaut. Needlehead is not a problem for us. Yeah, they can have that. That is totally fine. Curator is really good, just because it's so big. Beefy boy, beefy boy. Interesting. So are we targeting the Needlehead and turning off the... I mean, the draw trigger doesn't actually matter, right? Because they get it back. Yeah, they have the trigger back by the time it's my turn again. So we're probably just turning the Bastronaut into a 2/2 and playing 2/3 toughness creatures, sitting on Flood Maw. That makes sense to me. It's like a little annoying that I have to take the point of damage right now because I drew Curator. This was the one punish for this. Alternatively, I could just play the other Beastbinder and just stay on plan. That may not be bad either, honestly. Just because the Beastbinder is so much better of a thing to pump. But no, I'm still going to play the Curator. And the logic is, the Curator, he just threatens so much better of a block that my opponent will be kind of enticed to do something, I think. Yeah, I think this is fine. Really important that we play the starting town that turn, and I think it's worth the damage, because we get to represent Ouroboroid next turn. We're Hellkiting, which would turn off one of my blocks in theory. I think that means I'm probably popping the Flood Maw here, just because I won't get another... It'll be another 2 turns before I get to use it. Ooh, am I willing to trade Curator for Bastronaut now? I don't think so, right? I think I just want to Flood Maw. Flood Maw the Needlehead because it's more expensive. Block the Bastronaut. Because it... Yeah. I think that all makes sense. Take 4, go to 13, have both my creatures in play, and just play a big Ouroboroid. Let me think about that one for a minute. It's probably safe, no? Like, if he plays a Nemesis, I just take 3. He doesn't have a good attack with Bastronaut anyways. Yeah, I just want to get my damage in, I'm pretty sure. I don't think I see the vision for how I get punished with this attack. He's probably just going to play a couple small creatures, right? That would be my guess. I guess there's a world where my Ouroboroid could get Witchstalker Frenzied. But I'm clearly never blocking with the Ouroboroid if he were to hypothetically attack. So he would have to just suicide his Bastronaut in and 2-for-1 himself, because I would just block with Beastbinder 100% of the time. Because if we got a 2-for-1 with our Beastbinder for Bastronaut plus a removal spell, we would be very happy with that. Yeah, I think this play... It makes sense in theory, but our board is just gigantic. They just don't have a way to win, I don't think, now. Do I care about Menace from these? I don't. But my opponent missed a land drop. They don't have the mana to proc Challenger, so I don't care about turning off Challenger either. It's kind of weird. I guess I'm probably still supposed to turn off Challenger, just because it's like generic power. It's like the same power difference. Plus... That's probably the way things go the worst for me. I guess like double Menace plus double Strike if he had like a burn spell would be really annoying. So yeah, maybe it is supposed to be a Bastronaut. I don't think any of this actually matters. I think go ahead and trigger Ouroboroid. I think we're just crunching with everybody. Yeah, definitely here. Definitely here. I'm going to make one of these a 2/2. Yeah, you just gotta crunch because you've got to... It's a forced block. Yeah, so we're gonna just target a Bastronaut. And he's probably gonna block with the Bastronaut I targeted, I assume. Or the Challenger. Challenger makes sense too, but I think the Bastronaut's a slightly better block. Oh, or he's just taking it and dying. That works too. Yeah, I mean, I think they were on no outs. We were just gonna double spell again. Alright, against red. Against red. We definitely want the Screams. I just realized, well, I wonder why this is in the deck. There's no way you're supposed to bring this in against red, right? Because it just gets Hellkited. There's no way. I absolutely refuse to buy that this card is in the deck for red. It's got to be in the deck for, like, the mirror match, right? Just because it trades up with the other green creatures so well. Yeah, that's what it's in the deck for. That makes way more sense. That makes way more sense. Can't imagine the 1-mana sorcerer removal spell isn't also good here. And then I think that's all we're interested in. Yup. I like it. Alright, so it's another matchup where the graveyard's not relevant, but I think it maybe just being a 3/3 is relevant. Definitely don't need 3 Flood Maws again against red. You would rather just have the real removal. I think talent is probably too slow. It's certainly too slow for 3 of them. It's just a matter of do I want to cut more of them? Because, I mean, obviously, the way you win the matchup is by getting your creatures to be gigantic. Oh, I guess Surrak is probably not good here either, right? But I certainly don't want to cut 2 Surraks. So I think the 3 cuts that we've made make a lot of sense. And then it's just a matter of what's the last card that we cut. Sirens historically are not very good against red, but I think in this deck that maybe functions a little differently because you really care about the maps for Ouroboroid, and we've already cut a talent. It's certainly not any of the mana dorks, and it's certainly not Pawpatch Recruit. I don't think it's Snakeskin Veil. And I don't think it's any of the 3 toughness 2-drops. I think those are very important as well. So yeah, let's cut Siren. I talked myself into it. We still have a million 1-drops. We should never, I don't think, it can obviously happen, but I think it's very unlikely we end up in a spot where we don't get to play a 1-drop on turn 1. This will do. This'll do. Turn 1 Pollinator into turn 2 Pollinator Beastbinder. Oh, and they don't have a 1-drop. And we drew probably the best draw in our deck, I would imagine. Opponent, once again, super deep in the tank. Obviously, they're not thinking about responding to the Pollinator. I think they're just thinking about if they want to Burst Lightning the Pollinator or not. And they probably should, realistically. Yep. I think that makes a lot of sense. Takes a lot of the steam out of a lot of the draws that I could have there. Unable to Scream. Pretty good draw. Pretty good draw. It's a nice little combo. Pollinator, tap the Unable to Scream. Because I control the permanent even if it's on one of their creatures. Am I willing to use this Unable to Scream? I think the answer to that is still no, right? I'm pretty sure the answer to that is still no. I have a lot of interest in just playing the Beastbinder, but I also think Pollinator Pawpatch Recruit's a really good play. Because Pollinator Pawpatch, my apologies, lets me threaten Ouroboroid next turn. So if they just tap out for like a Nemesis, don't I just take 5, go to 14, and then like kind of win the game? I'm going to go for that. I think my gut tells me that I like this line a little bit better. I just think the Beastbinder is a totally fine, safe play, but I think this play represents enough more power that I like it. And then it's like, it makes their turn really weird, right? Because if they want to just sit on the Nemesis attack, so there's the Nemesis. Yeah, I like this a decent bit, I think. It is a little unfortunate that I have to go to 11. And then I still don't get to Scream until next turn. Maybe I did do this all wrong. Maybe I did do this all wrong. Because now the Nemesis gets 2 attacks in. Really interesting. And then they just have the Bolt, which is fine. We're just putting the counter on the Pawpatch, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think this didn't work out the way that I was hoping. I think I took way too much damage from a Nemesis that wasn't necessary. That's alright, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. The line is for sure scream the Nemesis, end step, bounce the Needlehead, and then just try to have a million power in play. It could also be Curator, but I think... Oh, you know what? It actually probably is Curator, no. Just because I can give it Delirium I can give it Delirium next turn. Yeah. I actually need to attack, don't I? I really need to attack. Because I need to win the game. If I put them as 16... And then I can make this a 7, so that's 11, 12, 13. I still don't have lethal. Yeah, alright, I probably can't attack this turn because of the village as well, plus menace. I need to be able to represent some stuff. Yeah, I don't love it, but really, really wanted to start turning the corner there and get an attack in. Hellkite. Yeah, Hellkite's a problem, alright. Hellkite is definitely a problem. Just put it on the recruit, I guess. I just lose to everything now, unfortunately. Maybe if he attacks with everything, maybe he'll make the mistake and attack with everything. But how do we win this game? How do we win this game? It has to be... All right, let's just see how he attacks first. It's just Hellkite, right? It's always just Hellkites. Yeah. It's not looking good. And there's no way for us to crack lethal next turn. I didn't board any in. I didn't board in any of the ways to stop triggers. We go to 4, so we could just draw another Flood Maw. It's just like... Yeah, it's just another Flood Maw, right? So, if the top card of my deck is another Flood Maw, how will I have wanted to play this? I'll have wanted to just take the 4, right? Yeah. Because double Flood Mawing, the Needlehead gets more permanents off the board. Obviously, we open up losing to, like, just a Burst Lightning or something, or that. Yeah. I would say this did not go according to plan, is what I would say. Alright, game 3, that is. Dead to them just playing the Needlekin. We had a lot of power on the board, though. We were close to turning the corner. We were very, very close to turning the corner. How different does that game play out if we just play the Beastbinder? If I just play the Beastbinder that turn instead of double spelling, he still plays Nemesis, only attacks for 3 instead of 5. So instead of going to 12, I go to 14. And then we still can double spell. Or we could just play Pawpatch with Offspring, but I think double spelling is better. I also think we drew the Flood Maw that turn, right? I don't think we already had the Flood Maw. I think we drew it, so I actually would have been able to go land number 3, Pawpatch, Pollinator, sit on Flood Maw. That would have obviously ended up being way better. Yeah, I think it was just a pretty easy Beastbinder. That turn that we messed up. I think my sideboarding still makes a lot of sense. I don't think I want to make any changes. I think we are bing chillin'. Get a nice little game on the play. Ooh, that's not going to work. Flood Maw or Snakeskin Veil? It's got to be the Flood Maw, right? Yeah, it's got to be the Flood Maw. Flood Maw, and pray that we get to keep our Llanowar Elf. Haha! You love to see it. So now are we curating or are we Pawpatching? I mean, we should just Pawpatch, right? They're for sure gonna want to play a creature on turn 2. There's no way that we need to sit on this Snakeskin Veil literally for next turn. Yeah, let's just Pawpatch. Also, I guess there'd be a pretty good argument to Pollinator plus Curator, and then just have all the mana the next turn. Oh, maybe that's better, actually. Yeah, because it's like, if he just attacks here, I kind of just have to take 3, which is not ideal, because I don't really want to double block. I guess I could double block. Trade 1 card, waste his entire turn, board is empty. Play Curator on an empty board. It's actually kind of interesting, no? I'm not going to do it, though. I do think double blocking is pretty interesting here, because there's no punish, right? The pump is just a trade, which is what he does, because any removal spell would just, I'd put the counter on the other thing. Whenever an opponent casts a spell 3 or less mana, they take a point. Yeah, I can live with that. That's fine. No attacks this turn. I'll start attacking next turn. I think there is a world where I could have just attacked with both of the recruits and see if they wanted to trade, and then I wouldn't have taken that damage, but I think flooding the board for my potential top decks makes a lot of sense. Wonder what their third turn play is here. Nemesis is, of course, a problem. Hellkite's not really a problem. Needlehead is, like, annoying, but not really a problem. And he just can't attack, right? Yeah, we take 1. Excellent draw. Alright, so how do we do this? How do we do this? I'll have taken a point, but they won't be able to pump. I actually just don't have excellent attacks here, which is kind of lame. I almost wonder if I'm supposed to hard-hitting the... I mean, I just am, right? And then I attack with both of the... And then I just attack with... I don't want to attack with both of the 1-power things. That's so telegraphed. I also don't want to leave, like, no blockers back either. That's not good. Maybe I just try to bait him. Maybe I try to, like, hard-hitting questions here because this overall represents more damage, even though it's worse in combat. And then I just attack with these things, and, like, maybe there's a world where he tries to double block the Curator. But either way, I think getting either one of these off the board is a good exchange. You know? I think maybe there's a world where he greeds out with me only having 1 card in hand and tries to go for the double block. And if he goes for the double block, he gets absolutely wrecked. He's just taking it. That's pretty interesting. But still good for me. I don't mind that. Challenger is not that scary. Crunching in. Dealing 1. Alright. Well, there's no way for me to turn on the Curator unless my Pollinator dies. So I kind of want the Pollinator to die. I for sure want the Pollinator to die. What is the most likely scenario? So what if I do something like... What if I do something like this, which guarantees the pollinator dies, and then this, and then I see what they do. If they pass priority, I just trade across the board, and if they go for the pump, then I Snakeskin Veil. I think that makes sense. I think that makes sense. That's fine. And then... kill the elf, I assume. Yeah, I mean, it's like... It's very clearly not great, but... Alright, not the creature. Instant. Artifact. Not the draw we were hoping for. So I'm clearly attacking with Curator? Can I attack with anything else? Very interesting games. I wonder... So assuming my Curator is safe, maybe I attack with the other things? I can't just leave one of these back because then I die on the spot to a Hellkite. But if I don't attack with the Curator, then I just can't win the game. Right? Like, they have a million cards in their hand. Don't I have to... It's so tough. I just have to attack with the Curator and hope, I think. Because if they're playing a spell, at least I'm pumping my Curator and can threaten lethal that way. Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't love it, but... I don't see another way for us to actually win the game. I feel like sitting back just means we maybe don't lose next turn, but we for sure lose over the course of a couple turns. I think this is the only play that actually gives us some win equity. Yeah, the Obliterating Bolt is kind of what I was thinking, so... I mean, any removal spell now kills this regardless, right? So it's just, I should just always put the counters on Curator. The only way that this gets punished is land Hellkites. So I'm always putting one there, and then it's just, am I playing around land Hellkites? The problem is if I put one counter on this, I don't have a good block still. I still have to take 5. And I still, yeah, I mean, that doesn't even accomplish anything. I'm just putting the counter on the Curator. If they have land Hellkite, good beats on them. Well played. This is the only way that I can threaten to win the game. I mean, I'm for sure chump blocking. I'm certainly not losing to a Burst Lightning or a Lightning Strike. No! Come on, Ouroboroid! Ouroboroid! Damn. Damn, damn, damn. Damn, damn, damn. Tough beats. I like the way that we played that game. I like the way that we played that game. I think it's very possible for the opponent to just not have the creature there. And now we're just dead because we're dead to a land, and I can't imagine 3 spells that don't kill us. So we're dead. We have been defeated. As soon as our opponent figures out how they want to do it. That's good enough. Tough. Tough games, tough games. I think the second game was winnable. I think the third game could have been winnable, but that doesn't mean I don't dislike a lot of the decisions that we made. The only other thing I could think is, like, what if on that last combat from our opponent, if I just put both counters on our on the rabbit token instead and make it a 3/3 instead of the 9/9, and then their attack is worse because either we get to eat the needlehead, or which means they don't attack with it, and then trade, and then our life total stays at 8. Maybe that's better. Really tough. This deck lends itself to a lot of very interesting games, I feel like. Alright, I'll jam this. No 1-drop again, which is a little tilting for a deck that has, like, 20 1-drops, but... Jam the Curator. Looks like we might be playing against the Reanimator deck, which is... Oh, or Roots. That's better for them. I was thinking the Reanimator deck would have a really hard time. Roots can beat this, because it just works for them. Funny. Interesting. Really needed a land there. None of my other plays here are particularly good. Maybe I'm supposed to play the talent because it gives me a way to spend 1 mana next turn and then sit on Flood Maw, which is kind of what I want to do. This play is worse against just, like, a removal spell, but I don't think Roots decks are generally going to play a lot of removal spells, right? Because they're too busy playing a bunch of cards that kind of go with their inherent game plan. Oh, wow. Our opponent is going off the rails. You hate to see it. I think there is basically no way this is going to work. I see. I see. Well, I don't get to remove the thing with the Curator, but, like, maybe... So I get Trample, right? Maybe there's a world where I'm just supposed to... Huh. I mean, he only gets to proc this once. I guess I should wait and see what gets milled first, right? Because if he goes for the double, then the Flood Maw is the same thing. Oh, I guess that's not actually true. Alright, let's just Flood Maw it. Oh, he actually missed! He actually missed! That's crazy. That's so crazy. Enchantment, instant, land. And creature, technically. So, depending on how they remove the Overlord next turn, I may have to eat it myself and give him the roots, the plants, because I need it under the Curator, right? Because it's the only creature at the moment. So I'm just not playing anything, right? I think I'm kind of all in on this Curator. Which kind of looks like it might actually work now. Yeah, kind of looks like it might work. It's funny, if we drew an untapped land there, did we win? We would have, right? We would have just won the game with an untapped land there. That's funny. I think we're still kind of okay, though. That just was a really good Overlord mill for us. Or I guess the better way to phrase that is a really, really terrible mill for the opponent. The hell is this? Oh my god. That Flood Maw is just going to cost me the game. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. So was I just supposed to move preemptively? That doesn't feel like that's right, but what a hard deck to play against. Oh my god, it destroys our talent too? That's so gross. That is so gross. Well, I don't want to eat anything else, right? I want to leave those in the graveyard for my other one, potentially. Yeah, I mean, we could have just won this game a million different ways, but I've never played against a damn Roots deck. What the hell? Surrak feels like it's not going to be good enough. Even with him so low. Maybe I'm supposed to just play Beastbinder and try to weasel in the last couple points that way? It looks better than Surrak to me, if I'm being honest. Mm-hmm. If I draw a snake, I think my opponent just threw. Because they don't have lethal, right? Don't I win the game if I draw a Snakeskin Veil now? I think my opponent did not need to do that. Because they would have had 2 blockers no matter what. And now they've only got 1. Damn, I would have loved to draw a Snakeskin Veil there and punish them. That would have been so nice. Yeah, because we just... Boom. 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 And then the Beastbinder can't be blocked. Yeah. Tough. Tough, tough, tough. That game was for sure winnable. That game was super winnable. Well, Annul seems like a slam dunk here. Gets Roots and Overlord. This card's got to be good here too, right? Instant or sorcery, so it counters that crazy removal spell. It counters Cash Grab, and it counters what? I guess it only counters 1 Roots. Maybe that's not actually that good. I feel like Curiosity might be good in this matchup. It's obviously terrible if they're doing the thing. But I think if they're doing the thing and making a million tokens, we're dead anyways. Seems like a really good way to sit on these Annuls and Heritage Reclamations. And pull ahead on some cards, because they didn't have a lot of other creatures that were going onto the board, I don't feel like. I'm game to try that. That seems good to me. Is Curator something I'm interested in here? I feel like if my plan is to keep Roots off the board, then yes, Curator is still quite good. I think this is not a Snakeskin Veil matchup, right? I feel like it's not a Snakeskin Veil matchup. I think I'm down to cut a Flood Maw again, since I've just got more permanent answers to the cards I'm trying to interact with. And then it's just like some amalgamation of these 2 drops, right? I feel like Druneth has got to be good in a matchup where they're less likely to be interacting with it. And then Beastbinder's like not shutting anything off because it doesn't target enchantments. Yeah, I'll buy that. It seems like it's probably Beastbinder is the weak link in this matchup. On the play, on the play. Yeah, I mean, this hand has flaws, unfortunately. But I do think you're supposed to keep it. I mean, it's a land away from being functional, and then another land away from being quite powerful. So yeah, I mean, that draw, like, we're in business. It's, again, still not perfect. I did not expect them to have a red source. Uh-huh. Well, that's annoying. I guess it doesn't matter which one I play, right? Yep, guess it doesn't matter. Hi-ya! I do not want to trade my little Pawpatch for a Town Greeter. Really glad that they didn't jam roots exactly on that turn. That would have felt pretty bad. That's annoying. I guess I'm supposed to attack with both now because I certainly do not want to just attack with the Surrak and let him double block and then not get in my 2 free points of damage. I could just pass. God, this... I'm glad I drew the lands, but drawing all come to play tap lands is just super brutal. I mean, the Ooze is going to end up being a problem, but I guess it's just not going to be as big of a problem as the Ouroboroids are going to be. Maybe I'm just supposed to pass. Because removal is so bad against me the way I've set up. Yeah, I'll buy that. I think pass is the right play here. I'm just going to win by going bigger. God bless Annul. Alright, and then Ooze can be a 4. Probably should be willing to attack now, right? Because playing a Roots again... Yeah, I think I'm supposed to be willing to attack this turn. Again, just with the Surrak, because obviously Pawpatch gets trumped by the 4/4. But if he spends his turn removing his creatures and having his Ooze get destroyed, then I'm not in any danger of losing to another Roots without having another Enabler. And he might, like, have a removal spell or something and think that this trade makes sense. Wait, did he... Wait, what? Oh, am I just getting swept or something? I must be getting swept. Deadly cover-up? Wow. Wow! And he's targeting Ouroboroid? Oh my god. You are just not meant to win some games. You are just not meant to win some games. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Wow. All right. Not a good one for the home guys, I would say. Oh, well. Definitely getting some of this collected evidence out of the way. Yeah, we need to draw, like, a... I mean, our opponent still has 4 cards in their hand. We're just so dead. We need to draw, like... Curiosity. I mean, we're just so dead. I can't believe they have Deadly Cover up in their board control creature deck. Uh-huh. That's good mill for us. They don't get anything. Uh-huh. I kind of just don't see the vision now, though. Their ooze is gigantic. We don't have Ouroboroid in our deck. It's like all in on talent now. Talent seems like it's the only way that we can win. And it's not even clear talent if we draw it next turn races ooze, because his ooze is just massive. Well, we get to test. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We get to test my theory. Does it matter? Probably just supposed to be the Pollinate. Well, no, it's got to be one of the Tramplers. Alright, I'll just do the real one. Fuck it. Alright, well, if our opponent keeps drawing air, we will obviously outscale here. There's no other creatures in the graveyard. He is, I mean, of course willing to attack, because why wouldn't he be? His thing is a 5. Come on, air, 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 air. All air, baby. Does he really just have that card again? Oh, it's just another cover-up. Huh. Yep. I mean, any creature in my deck is, like, very good still, no? Like, Curiosity, Surrak. I have a lot of very good draws. Bang. Alright, we don't need our opponent to miss very often. Or, yeah, I mean, we just need him to miss a couple turns. That's not good. Surely he's just got something gigantic that can win him the game, right? Yeah. Okay, dude. Jeez. Fun. Our opponent did some stuff. They cooked both on their deck and cooked us respectively. I still think this deck is really sweet. I think it's pretty safe to say my draws, like, on average for the day have been pretty poor, right? Like, we've had a lot of games where we just haven't had a 1-drop in a deck that has 3 Siren, 7 Mana Dorks, 3 Pawpatch Recruits, right? So we have 13 1-drops in our deck, I think. 14, maybe? And we've had a lot of games where we just, like, don't start the game until turn 2. I mean, this hand doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can actually ever keep this hand. Alright. This hand is serviceable. It's like a little annoying if they have an Ouroboroid answer, but I think I have to put the other Ouroboroid back, right? Like, I really care about the 3 lands plus the map to get to this. Innkeeper is my bridge card. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just got to be the way it is. Don't play tactics. Oh, it is shit on Christian Day. Literally every single thing that can go wrong is going wrong for us, unfortunately. I'm not obliged to map this turn. I can just map next turn. I think getting the talent in play makes a lot of sense. It's just an ongoing threat that's going to be a problem for the mono-black deck. Turns every one of our creatures into a real problem. Yeah, I'm really glad we played the talent. Man, oh man. We are just getting turbo shit on. How much do I care about giving my other Siren ward? Versus just dealing the extra point of damage right now. I think I care about it a decent bit, because I really do not want my opponent to be able to play another 2-drop into like a trajectory or something. I want them to have to choose between them. So yeah, let's go ahead and map here. See what's up. I do not want Flood Maw, right? Yeah, we do not want Flood Maw. And then 1, 2, do it that way. And then I just put the guaranteed counter on the new Siren. Yeah, I like that. Jesus, alright. Bink. Bink. Oh, I didn't do Ward. So none of this actually matters. I still save the point, because I always want to map there. I always want to try and make sure my draw step is better. So yeah, if they get to double spell us, it's a little annoying, but that's fine. They don't get to attack this turn. So our board is still, like, pretty beefy. It only taps for blue, which is fine. So am I doing the Ward thing this turn? That means I have to not play Curator. I think that's not right. I think at this point I just let them use the removal spells that they have. And then do I make... I almost certainly just make this Siren a 3/3, right? I don't think I care about making Curator a 4/4 if he wants to attack me with his pump. Oh, it has lifelink. That's annoying. That's actually super annoying. What the hell? Yeah, well, I'm playing this. Maybe I am supposed to just put the counter on the big Siren now, with the logic being I have 2 blockers for Villager. Because if I attack with both flyers and he kills my Curator and attacks for 4 lifelink, that's like super annoying, no? Yeah, but then if he just kills my Siren, how annoying is that? Because I can't block anyways. Damn, our opponent is really making this tough on us. This is probably the best play against a single removal spell, because then he kills the Curator. I get to keep my 4/4, and then I still have a block on the Pillager. Christ almighty. We're just absolutely getting mauled. All day. All day. Uh-huh. We expected that, because that's how it's gone so far. And then really the only nightmare scenario here is second removal spell. Oh my god. I just got the worst feeling in the gut of my pit of my stomach. I'm just gonna block and get strategic betrayal, aren't I? Oh, I actually didn't. I just gotta put it into play. Not playing it and then drawing an Ouroboroid is just the absolute sickest nightmare punish. So the only removal spell that it would make sense for them... Oh, Jesus Christ. Uh-huh. That was a good draw. My opponent might discard here. I mean, their life total, absolutely, yeah. Oh, wow, he discarded a real card, too. I did not expect that. I did not expect that at all. Oh, it's another good draw. Clear, exile any number of graveyards. I don't care about my graveyard. Yeah, I mean... I'm definitely playing Surrak over leveling up talent. The question is, am I putting a counter on... I think I'm putting the counter on the real Pawpatch and attacking for 3. With the logic being I'm going to play Surrak and then there's no way for the Slasher to connect if I don't want it to. Which is safe against the Bloodletter, the 4-drop. But I also wouldn't really have a problem just taking the hit if he doesn't have the Bloodletter. And going from 14 to 11 and then 5, because I would take 6. I think that all makes sense. And he's probably snap blocking, right? Like, if he doesn't have... Yeah, I think blocking makes a lot of sense here. Like, for both players, basically. And then I just jam this. I think you could make the argument to just play Surrak and put the counter on him to protect him a little bit more. And then pass, because obviously you can't attack in that setting. But I still like this play. I like this play a little bit better. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And now I'm at 12. And they still only gain 1, right? Yeah, they still only gain 1. Oh, baby! Alright, well, our draw steps this game were absolutely filthy. What the hell? Absolutely filthy draw steps. I mean, we're... Yeah. Absolutely filthy draw steps. And then, like, do we lose to Pompous? I guess we lose to Pompous, but we had no flying blockers. We couldn't play around that anyways. Losing to Pompous here would be the most fitting way for us to ever lose the game. Okay. That means we're not getting Pompous out. That's nice. Haha! Victory! Victory! Alright, what triggers do I care about from their deck? I assume they have Annex, because I don't think you ever play the Slasher Bloodletter package without Annex. But I didn't see any other demons. And I don't think, I think in most circumstances, I do not think you care about countering the Pompous ability. Now, I am interested in Unable to Screams, because it's a permanent answer to both Bloodletter and Slasher. Sniper could be good here for the same reason, not to Slasher for the Bloodletter, but... And I probably want Heritage Rec, because I want to be able to interact with Annex and its cycles. So I'm probably down to cut a Flood... Oh, no, Flood Maw's actually really good against this deck. Because you can bounce the Demon as well. Snakeskin Veil is obviously insane. Talent is obviously very good. Beastbinder is probably at its weakest here. I think Druneth is like... It lets you go wide, which I think is very important, because they're not doing any of the sweeper nonsense. They're just trying to one-for-one you. It's got to be Beastbinder here, no? Like, you don't care about turning off Bat. You don't care about... I mean, turning off Slasher is pretty good, I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess you do care about turning off some creatures, too. But is Unable to Scream just more reliable? I think Unable to Scream is just a more reliable Beastbinder, maybe? Oh, I guess Curator is pretty terrible here, no? Yeah, Curator is actually... Curator doesn't do anything here. They don't care about their graveyard. I think this makes sense. I think this makes a lot of sense to me. If they were playing, like, one of the lower to the ground versions, like with Cecil and stuff, I think Flood Maw is, like, pretty bad against them. But against the full, like, Slasher, Bloodletter, Demon version, I think Flood Maw is quite good. Well, this will be a mulligan for sure. And this is going to be a keep putting back, I guess, Forest. I want to put the starting town back, but I mean, obviously, like, I've already got the second blue card in my hand, so... I'm going to be taking a lot of damage this game, unfortunately. Tough. Tough, tough, tough. It's a pretty good draw. Pretty good draw, I would say. Now, am I ever mapping, or am I kind of just want that for mana, no? Because I want to be able to Curiosity next turn and threaten an attack. Yeah. I think that makes sense to me. Crunch in for 1, buddy. Deal with it. Slasher, that is. Probably should not attack, right? Yeah. I think no attack makes a lot of sense. And then we're just playing starting town and passing, I guess. I mean, I guess maybe I'm supposed to attack. I mean, no, I guess I can't attack because then I just lose to Bloodletter. That's annoying. I would prefer to attack in theory, with the logic being they're so incentivized to trade, and then that lets me have access to my talent next turn. Whereas they're never going to attack, which means I don't have access to it until next turn. Post-combat? Yeah. It is annoying, but correct. Opponent gonna attack with Slasher, and I think we're pretty happy to just, like, go to 8 here and take 10. I don't think I want to trade my Curiosity for it. Yeah, I don't think so. I obviously would have if they had played Bloodletter, but... Carsey Revenant. Yep. That is yet another problem. Yeah, we're just super dead. We are just beyond dead. Either attack, opponent blocks trades, jumps this, don't attack, just take 3, lose the game that way, attack with everything. He goes block, block. I mean, I just have to attack with everything here, I think, and pray. Oh, we are just so fucking dead. We are just so fucking dead. Those were not the blocks I was expecting. I gotta be completely honest. Oh, don't just draw 2 lands. That's not much better. Well, we get to proc the Siren, which is something, so we at least get some blockers. And we get to do the map, so there is a little bit of hope here. A little bit of life. A little bit of life channeling into us here. And then what am I supposed to map? I probably am supposed to map the Druneth, right? Because at this point, like, the big creatures are the ones that I want to copy. And they're what I'm digging for off my map, too, right? So it's like, what 2-drop would I even keep? I really just want the 3-drops and the 4-drops. I don't care about pumping either of my flyers, because my flyers are just designated chump blockers. Yeah, let's pump the Druneth. Sure. I think our opponent misplayed that last turn's block pretty heavily. Letting us draw 2 cards, I think, pretty much should never have been right. Oh, come on. Come on. Let the top card of my deck be Ouroboroid and the card under it be a spell. Please. Am I just going to 1 here? I guess I'm supposed to chump block, right? 6-3. So it's either I take 5 or I take 3, so this saves more damage. Yeah. Come on, Ouroboroid and then a spell underneath. No! No! I'm begging, man. I'm begging, I'm begging, I'm begging. I'm so fucking dead. I don't even think Ouroboroid now does it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'll keep playing. So we're at forced block territory, right? Yeah, we're at forced block territory. I can take one more hit of the Carsey Revenant, but I probably shouldn't. That way I'm not just dead to a removal spell. Yeah, 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 dude. I get it. I get it. I get it. I understand. All right, do we want all the same stuff? I think God, maybe Beastbinder is just good here too because of I mean, we just lost to Slasher and Carsey, right? Revenant or Beastcaller's very good against both of those. Then what do you cut though? All right, so on the play, back up to 4 Beastbinder, down a Flood Maw, and then maybe it's just literally another Flood Maw, with the plan being you're like just all in on your permanent answers, which is not very many, admittedly, but maybe because they have Charm, it's not Curiosity, but Curiosity lines up against everything else in their deck so well. Maybe it's talent because even though it is, yeah, it's probably talent, right? With the logic being that even though it is very good to have one, having a bunch of them and then having all my creatures get answered is like a very real thing that can happen against the like 16 removal spell deck. God, I kind of hate that though. I just don't know what else it could be. Maybe it's just supposed to be a Druneth. Talent just seems so good too. Just makes everything a must-answer threat, which is not the case otherwise. Yeah, I talked myself into it. I don't want to cut talent. I'll cut a Druneth. Yeah. Tough. It's tough because all of your cards seem very important. I don't think you can just cut like a million Sirens, which is like probably your lowest impact card because it makes the deck work with Ouroboroid and Pollinator, right? So you got to be very cautious of that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean this handle work. We don't have any of our haymakers, but I don't think I'm in the business of throwing this hand back. Just keep a good functional 7 and hope that we've got some bangers on top of our deck. And we kind of did. It's a pretty good draw there. Just Beastbinder pass, right? We can't make 3 mana for the Recruit this turn, and I really don't have any interest at all in just playing the Recruit by itself. Like, so I'm always playing this. Playing the Recruit into the Beastbinder is a pretty good turn, but I think I'm just so much better off offspringing the Recruit against the mono black deck. Yeah, let's just Beastbinder jam for 1. I like that. This is better. This is better. It's like annoying if we get, yeah, I was gonna say batted, but what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Can you target anything? Win this up to 1 target or and only an opponent controls. Yeah, as I said, I don't know what the opponent's tanking about. It's very clearly Pawpatch. Yeah, I mean, maybe I was supposed to play Pawpatch. Beastbinder. Maybe I was, because then, like, what would they have taken with Bat? The other Beastbinder or the Scream, and I would be really far ahead on board. As it stands now, I'm not ahead on board at all. Just play another Beastbinder, right? I think I'm supposed to save the Druneth. I don't have any way to pump it. And I would rather just play it and a 1-drop immediately together. Yeah. Alright. We jam. Oh, I guess... Is this a May? It is a May. But I guess this is still marginally better, right? Alright, at least, like... They may not play Slasher or Carson. We've got a pretty good answer to both. Destroy target creature. That's fine. I would rather them use that on Beastbinder than one of my real threats. Oh, there we go. That's a real threat. Once again, a little annoying that I don't get to copy it with Druneth, right? I guess I could just double spell that way, but then I'm not using Offspring again, which is really annoying. Oh, this is just like... I feel like every time I make a play that makes sense, I get punished for it. If I had just played Druneth, I guess it probably just dies. Yeah, I guess it's not really a punish, because if I had played Druneth, it just would have died to the Saga. But if they did, for some reason, want to kill the other Beastbinder so they could get their threats online, obviously, like, already having the Druneth in play for this Pawpatch Recruit Offspring would be so sick. Yeah, I mean, it's just got to be the Druneth, because I think you got to start trying to take advantage of getting it online. And then I'll happily go to 17. We need the top card of our deck to be a Curiosity or an Ouroboroid. That's what we want. Pillager. Sure. Uh-huh. Well, this is very lame. This is very, very lame. Probably supposed to play the Sanctum. That way I'm not weak to my Pollinator dying to anything. I hate giving the opponent full information, but what are you going to do? I guess it's just a land attack with Beastbinder angle. God, drawing an Ouroboroid or a Curiosity that turn would have been so sick. Am I supposed to double block here? That just feels so bad. Double blocking just feels so bad. But, like, I'm losing the game letting him just get infinite lifelink too, right? Like, isn't one just strictly better than the other? Oh, I guess, like, do I just absolutely get fucking railed by Charm? Because Charm just gives this thing +2/+2? Oh my god. So that means then I would have to, like, block like this, and then I just get 3 for 1 if he passes? Oh, I just hate it. I hate everything. We're just getting... This deck has just been so bad to us. We've just drawn so poorly. Yeah, I mean, we've just got to take it. Leaving our creatures on the board is obviously, like, it makes things like Ouroboroid and Curiosity significantly better, and I'm not willing to just lose the game to a single Charm. I mean... It's getting dangerously close to the point where I kind of just have to scream this Pillager, even though it's still going to be a 2/4. Oh, I didn't do that right. I guess I can't make the Yeah, this is fine. It doesn't actually matter. I should have not attacked with the Pollinator and made this a 2/2, obviously, but... Uh-huh. You may have your 1/1. Yup. Oh, buddy. I hate it. I hate everything. I hate everything. The problem is, like, this card doesn't even do anything if I just draw one of the real cards in my deck. I just can't scream this. I just can't scream it. Not this turn. I just gotta wait. If we lose to it, we lose to it. Uh-huh. Down to 6 we go. Uh-huh. Maybe this is one of those decks that just, like, looks better on paper than it actually is. You're just so reliant on Surrak and Ouroboroid. You're so reliant. You just do no damage without one of those cards. But it's so misleading, right? Because every time I play against it, my opponent just plays Ouroboroid on turn 4. So the deck looks amazing when that happens. Yeah, I mean, we're just doing the thing. Trigger Druneth. I was right about the charm. That's nice. Seems like that's a pretty big mistake to target the Druneth now. Guess I've just got to put the counter on the Beastbinder now. You know. Just get a couple more. A couple more homies. So, attack, proc on bats, and then I just put a million fucking things in front of the pillager. One, two, three, four, five. So this is still good against both a removal spell and a second charm. Sure. Our opponent definitely messed up there. They should have just killed the Druneth already. I'm getting dangerously close to probably just losing to another Pompous Pillager. Yup. We've already committed to what our play is this turn, if they did that. Charm still only kills 2 creatures. Interesting. Guess it doesn't really matter. Because whatever I put the counter on is just going to die. So maybe I put it on the Pollinator. That way the Beastbinders are the same. I just kind of get a free point of power. That makes sense. Because he wants to kill a Beastbinder, I'm pretty sure. No reason to let him kill a 2/4 Beastbinder for free. If the last card in my opponent's hand is Pillager and that's how we lose, I'm going to be very deflated. Alright. For sure playing this. And mapping this. Could map the rabbit so it can attack. Because even if you turn the text off for this, you still get your card back. Yeah, I think that's actually better. Oh, Flood Maw to pick up Recruit is interesting. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And we've actually turned the corner pretty well. Yeah, I mean, I know how we're going to lose, though. Our opponent just has another Pompous Pillage in their hand. There's just, like, no way. It's just one of those feelings. It's just one of those feelings that I've got that are usually on the correct end. Okay. So they didn't have Pompous, but that's still a pretty massive problem. Wow, 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 wow. This is not good. This is not good. Not good, not good. That Bloodletter was massive. Yeah, I mean, we just lose, right? Like, my only play is let Annex go on the stack and bounce the Bloodletter, but that means I can't attack. And I don't want to unable to scream the Bloodletter just to have to Flood Maw it next turn anyways, right? So we actually do just lose. I can Flood Maw it now, but then they just replay it, and we don't have lethal. Both unable to scream and Beastbinder keep its creature type, right? Yeah, it says it's a toy, but it's not become. So it's just it's a toy vampire demon. I think we're just dead. Oh, we ran out of time on the rope. Yeah, I mean, we didn't have a play. The only way that we don't die is Flood Maw, so. And then, yeah, they do this, and then we die anyways. GG. We got crushed today. That is alright. That is how it goes. That is how it goes sometimes in the world of Magic the Gathering. I still think this deck looks sweet. How does the... Yeah, I'll leave my camera the same. That's fine. I don't think you guys care about those last couple of sideboard slots. I still think this deck is pretty sweet on paper. And admittedly, historically, this is not the kind of deck that I enjoy playing in tournaments because you're just so all in on your early curve. But yeah, this deck did not play well for us. I think we went 1-3 in our 4 matches. But obviously a lot of other people are having success with this deck, and you can definitely see where the power is. So if this is your kind of cup of tea, maybe you should still give it a try, and maybe it will work better for you than it did for us. Anyways, appreciate you guys watching. If you had a good time, go ahead and do a like, comment, and subscribe for me. It does help out the channel a lot. Other than that, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. You all have a good one. Take it easy.